Hey, good morning and welcome to the UroPatient podcast, the best place to go for patients to learn more about their urologic problems. If you're watching us live, we come to you every Saturday at 10:30 a.m. live, or you can watch us on demand on YouTube, Facebook, and on X. So be sure to check us out on any of those places. Also, check out our website at UroPatient.com to learn more and to watch past episodes. They're all available right on the website. We also have all these handy handouts. Handy handouts, that's quite a set. But anyway, we put out these handouts that you can download right from our website too. So take advantage of all that. So we've got a great episode for you today. We're going to be continue on with our Movember, and we're trying to talk about men's health, a little more health awareness. And today we're going to tackle a really interesting situation. Can fitness prevent cancer? So, hey, can exercise and diet play a significant role in reducing the risk of cancer? Well, according to the American Cancer Society and other health organizations, it is recommended to follow an exercise and diet routine to help prevent cancers. Now, this is a all too familiar scenario for our office. A patient comes in and they've got an elevated PSA. They're getting set up for a prostate biopsy. And that's when they look at us and say, hey, what can I do to prevent cancer? Well, it's probably not the best time. It should have been something done sooner. But I always say when patients ask a question, that's really a good learning experience time. They're prepared to listen to you, and maybe this is a good time to get started. So I always like to talk to patients about some of the simple things that can be done. And it doesn't get easier than this. Diet and exercise. Yes, diet and exercise, and not really hard stuff to do. But we'll go over some options and some things that I've incorporated in my life. And I think that there's a lot of research out there that supports it. So it might be worth doing it yourself. Now, here's one of the big problems in America. Our diet. A fast food diet, typically high in processed meats, unhealthy fats, refined sugars, and low in essential nutrients like fiber, has been linked to an increased risk of several cancers. Actually, regular consumption of this food leads to obesity, a known risk factor for cancers like colon, breast, and pancreatic cancers. The high level of saturated and trans fats in fast foods can trigger chronic inflammation. They're finding that's the big key to these problems. While additives and preservatives like nitrates in processed meats are known carcinogens, they're feeding us cancer. Moreover, diets that are low in fruit and vegetables and whole grains deprive our bodies of the antioxidants and other protective nutrients that we need, increasing the likelihood of cellular damage and the development of cancer. So what can you do? Well, there's a movement that I've kind of started to sign on to. I mean, eat better, eat healthier, but there's this thing called the single ingredient diet. And I listed up some of what that involves on the slide there. But it refers to a dietary approach that consists solely of whole foods that contain only one ingredient. This means focusing on natural, unprocessed foods that are in their most basic form. Common examples include fruit, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, dairy, and lean meats. So by single ingredient, that means it's meat. It's not what we call ultra processed food. That's the stuff where it's got so many chemicals. Well, as a matter of fact, read the labels. If you need a degree in chemistry to understand what's in your food, you probably shouldn't be eating it. So avoid those type of foods and try to eat the more fresh, natural things like fruits, like bananas, apples, berries. My favorites. I have blueberries almost every day, broccoli, spinach, carrots, quinoa, brown rice and oats, chicken breast, fish and beans. The leaner the meats, the better. The almonds and walnuts, chia seeds, all the things you see there. Now, I'm kind of lucky. I live in the country, so I've got a lot of fresh foods available for me, but they're still available for everybody. Get out there and do a little of the work yourself. And I think there's few things I really say great about COVID, but maybe one of the good things that came out was people didn't go to restaurants so much because they had to start cooking at home. You couldn't go to a restaurant. And I'm one of those that was I never was a huge restaurant person, but I had to say we at least, because of working and the inconvenience of cooking, we would go a couple times a week at least. Not anymore. I enjoy cooking, and I'm semi-retired, so I've got more time, and so I started taking over the cooking. My wife's a great cook, but I decided I'd like to do it now that I got the time, and I really enjoy it. And incorporating these dietary principles can really help reduce inflammation and support immune function and reduce cancer risk long term. Helps to control your weight. Now, nobody's perfect. You're not going to not ever have a cheat food, but if you cook fresh ingredients and follow that, try to stick to the one factors. I mean, the food just tastes so much better, and it's better for you. Now, let's talk about exercise. Well, you don't have to go into the gym and sweat for hours to get enough exercise to prevent cancer. Lots and lots of good studies out there, and boy, I watch them to see what they are available to tell you what things can be done. Pretty simple. Aerobic exercise, 30 minutes of exercise 5 times a week. That comes out to about 150 minutes. Now, you can do more than that, but it's got to be consistent. You have to do this all the time. I started doing this myself after I had heard some of these reports, and this was probably at least 20, 25 years ago that I started the aerobic exercise routine. I'm not a big fan of exercise, but hey, I'm not a big fan of cancer either. So I thought it's got enough benefits to be worth my while. And I love to ride bicycles. So that's what you can see me there on my recumbent bike getting ready to go out on a trip. Now, there's an argument about what aerobic actually is. And my wife, you can see my wife and I here on our bikes. We're on our recumbent bikes, a little different one that we had earlier. Getting ready to go and do some exercise. And my wife's idea of aerobic was I do a lot of walking at work, and she does. My wife gets more steps than anyone I know. She's always, I say fidgety. She likes to always go from here to there. But is it really aerobic? And it's not. You can be active, but you have to have sustained activity. That means you got to do this for at least 20 minutes. And I can tell you, she does a lot of walking, gets a lot of steps, but it's not sustained. You need to get your heart rate up because you're exercising. Doesn't have to be super high intensity. Moderate intensity is fine. Usually that means that you could probably still hold a conversation while you're exercising. A lot of times when we're riding bikes together, we're talking because we're getting our heart rates going, and, you can still have a conversation. But aerobic means oxygen use. So it has to get more oxygen to your muscles, and you got to do that by getting the heart pumping away. Now, there is a formula that you can follow. I kind of like the Apple Watch. I have one myself. And whether you're using that or a fitness trainer, anything that monitors your heart rate is going to be great. But anyways, here's the formula that I use. The heart rate for aerobic exercise is typically measured as a percentage of your maximum heart rate, which can be roughly estimated using the formula 220 minus your age. And then you want to aim for 50 to 70%. So you can see I did a little calculation. I'm 66. So it came out to that I should get my heart rate somewhere between 77 to 106. My goal is always to kind of be at least in the 90 to 100 range. And I said I can monitor my watch for the that I'm getting it up on to that range. So you want to do that for 30 minutes. Get that aerobic exercise, that little bit of walking around, even if it's a lot of walking around, is still not aerobic. I'm a big fan of low impact exercises. They're really great. That's why I like to ride my bicycle, because it's not hard on the joints. Swimming is probably one of the best because it exercises the upper body and the lower body. I just don't like getting in the water anymore. I used to be a swimmer. I swam plenty in the water, and I just can't find myself getting back in there. But I love bicycling, so I do that every day. Opposed to things like jogging and running, which is okay. I mean, it's great exercise, but boy, oh boy, I don't know about you. It's hard on my knees, and I get sore knees if I do a lot of that type of work. And but the bicycle's a lot easier on the knees, so I'm a big fan of it. Now, the other thing is you can't do typically those exercises outdoors all year long if you live in a climate like I do, where I'm not in Florida, I'm in the Midwest. So it does get cold. So I actually have a subscription to, and not trying to sell Apple products here, because I am a stockholder in Apple, so I'll full disclosure, but I like their products. This Apple Fitness Plus I sign up for and get it every year. I think it's about $80 a year, and it's got all sorts of exercise routines. And as you can see right on the screen, you can see what your time that you're exercising, what your heart rate is, how many calories you're burning. It's just a really good system. I actually take my bicycle that you saw in the first one, and it comes down into my basement where I've got a device that the tire will fit on the back so I can still pedal it and do my pedal workouts every day. So it is just the best way to keep up with the exercise, and the motivation you get from some of these programs. And there's other ones out there is really good. So the other thing that more recent studies have shown that we don't get enough of, especially us teenagers, is strength training. And you don't need to do a lot of it. A couple times a week is all you should do. But I definitely know that I wasn't getting enough strength training because, that's the upper body, and I'm on a bicycle, not exercising that so much. I mean, not too much with steering wheels that you get exercise. So I do some light weight training. I think it's real simple. Just repetitions. You want to try to work all the major muscle groups: legs, hips, back, abdomen, chest, shoulders, arms. For me, I do core exercise and I do the light weights. I do like 10 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week. The Apple Fitness has strengthening exercises and core exercises as part of their routines. Just I dial up a 5 minute of each of those and do those a couple times a week. Super simple to do, get it done. And that's also going to be a big help. The other thing is sedentary lifestyle. Oh man, boy, have we changed our life. With I think the advent of binging TV is probably one of the worst things that ever happened. You could sit there and watch a show on Netflix and it's got 10 episodes, no commercials, one after another. You might sit in that, if it wasn't for the bathroom, you could sit there for 10 hours and never get off the chair. That and 24-hour cable news, the two worst things probably ever invented, because people have developed these sedentary lifestyles, and it's going to kill you. It's death by sofa. So, get up and move. It's really important. So again, some of those key cancer prevention benefits are listed there: by controlling your weight, the hormone regulation that comes with exercising, and the immune booster that you get from it is huge. So diet and exercise definitely are going to play a significant role in reducing your risk of cancer by weight management, hormonal regulation, and improved immune function. Don't be like this guy. Don't wait till it's too late and you're coming into the office because you need to set up a biopsy to find out, hey, maybe there was something I could have done to prevent all this. Maybe there was. So I hope you enjoyed that. Learned a few things about how you can prevent cancer with some simple dietary and exercise changes in your life. Not complicated. Just get out there and do it. Get moving. And join us every week to learn more on the UroPatient podcast.